Welcome, everyone. So, today we're going to try something new, and we're going to look at the most beautiful combinations in chess history. I'm going to take examples from masters like Ni Hua today and Quang Liem, and we're going to see which moves were the most brilliant sacrifices, were the most brilliant tactics that ever happened in chess. And I will also give you some time to try and guess the moves. So, first, you will take a few seconds to try and guess the tactic, and then I'll show you how the game actually ended. So let's begin. Let's try out some warm-up examples. All right, here's a warm-up for you. We have two masters. White is a guy named Mr. Cone. Okay, and he has this crazy position with a trap bishop, with all the pieces being very, very active and the king on the run. And he's playing against Mr. Cesar. Cesar is also a master, but doesn't feel very masterly here, considering the king is on d8, not having a great time. Rooks are disconnected. Knights are not out completely. They're blocking the bishops. The queen is out here for some reason. I don't know why. Don't ask me. And the only good thing for black is that white's pieces are hanging. Bishop is hanging, the rook is hanging. This guy is not connected. They're not participating in the attack. All right. So I'll give you 3 seconds and feel free to pause the video and then we'll see the rest. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And the answer is knight b6. If you decided on knight b6, congrats, because everything else wouldn't be as nice or effective. Okay, we could have tried to castle, and probably we still win after a while, but it's not the most effective way. And it feels odd, right? Because we should be attacking. Like, imagine playing this move or trading the queens. That's anti-positional, because then we retreat. Imagine putting this knight back to try and cover the rook. No, that's how you lose. Okay? If you trade the queens, you have no attack left and you're losing your bishop. All right? We don't have time to retreat. Rook h3 is a little more interesting, but still doesn't really participate in the attack. If you take the bishop, you're just helping them. Doesn't do anything. All right? In the actual game, we throw the knight at their queen and say catch. And they have to catch our rooks because as the queen starts eating one rook, it turns out there are no good squares on this line. Anywhere you go, like e4, is just losing because we're gonna remove your guard and win your queen. Okay, the queen must keep eating, and as the queen keeps eating, we're gonna keep attacking. The queen is now in another dimension. She's no longer on this earth. As she's gone, we can focus on this poor, isolated, alone guy. Forcing moves first. Look for checks, captures, threats. Ready? Here come the sacrifices. 3, 2, 1, boom. We're gonna sacrifice the whole army to deliver mate. We give up the knight in order to clear the bishop. This is a clearance tactic, but we're not done yet. More clearance and a decoy because we want the queen involved, but she was too far from the action. So we throw the bishop in there and say catch. As they're busy catching up to us, we come in and say hi. If you go back, sorry, king, it's too late to run back. I'm already at your house. And if you try to go forward, it looks like you're just a few moves from freedom. You're a few moves from safety and a safe house there. And I lost all my pieces. I lost my rooks and my knight and my bishop and my other knight. But I have just enough to finish the game. The king has to run up. He doesn't have time to run back. And the icing on the cake, b4 mate. Thank you very much. All right. So that's a very nice example where we gave up everything. We gave up the rooks, we gave up the bishop, we gave up the whole army, and then checkmate with a pawn. All right. Now that we did a little warm up, let's go to the main course where we have Mr. Le Quang Liem playing black against Ni Hua playing white. They're both super grandmasters and have this super sharp position on the board. Okay. The great news for white is that checkmate next turn will happen. Scary pawns are already at black's doorstep. The knight is forking and blocking the attack. The great news for black is that he also has some scary pawns. And it's his turn. Plus the queen's involved in the attack. And all we have to do is clear the way. So I'm going to give you 3 seconds and we'll look at it together. Ready? Feel free to pause. 1, 2, 3. And the answer is bishop a3. We start with bishop a3, and believe it or not, there is forcing mates basically coming from here. They can also give up a queen, but that doesn't count. All right. At this point, the king is in trouble. If he tries to run that way, I think the game won't last very long because of check, here, check, and we interfere with their bishop. Don't let them help. The king should take and then check, and we come in and finish the game soon thereafter. Scissor mate. All right. So for that reason, the king is panicking and saying, whoa, I'll eat your pawn, and then I'll eat this pawn, and I'll be safe somehow. But come on, he's not safe. The only thing blocking us is that knight. Now, we want to give a check, but the bishop takes, and we get mated. What else do we want? Well, we want to give up our queen in some cases, if we could clear the way. For example, if we could do something like that, if knight check could happen, that would be great. Because then bishop takes, if bishop takes, right? Then we're very close to a mate. Then maybe rook check, and then bishop check. We cut him off, and then other bishop checks. And we're so close to a mate, I can smell it, and here is the mate. Check, and I smell mate. All right. The only thing that remains is getting rid of the rook. Because the rook is really annoying, isn't she? Well, how to get rid of her? Because she can take my knight, unfortunately. We could try to distract her. We could give her a queen, but it doesn't work. She doesn't have to eat the queen. If she did, it's great. But she can just mate us. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. So instead of promoting to a queen, what if we give her another gift? Another birthday gift for the rook. And this time she has to eat. The rook has to eat. All right. If you go back here, I think the discovery is deadly. All right. That's too much. That's going to be made. For that reason, you have to take our knight. And as you take our knight, we say, hello, queen sacrifice. It's time to give up all the pieces. Again, another beautiful combo. And after you take our queen, there's the knight check. Okay, that finishes the game. Right? You could try to hide here, not for very long. Checkmate. This one would also be interesting, something like that. And I think that's what happened in the game. So he tried to run away here because if the bishop took, then we have checkmate. There's the checkmate I was talking about earlier. Bishop check, bishop check. If you go there, rook check, and after bishop takes, checkmate. Beautiful. All the pieces are participating. All the pieces that are left. That is. All right. So in the actual game, he chose to run away with the king, but that didn't help much because we throw the rook at the king. We say catch, and they have no choice but to catch. All right. I mean, they could go here, but that's what I mean by the queen sacrifice. All right. So we take the queen back, and we're still winning. For that reason, they tried to catch our rook, and we finished the game. Quang was pretty happy to finish with rook c8, bishop blocks, and check and mate. In the middle of the board, the king has no squares as we took them all. All right, so another beautiful combination by Quang Liem. I hope you can do that in your games too.